Hello everyone, it's Farkut here. In this video, I'm going to go over the patch notes for version 0.67. Now I've already done a video on this new patch about how nearly every building in the game can be destroyed now, which is a lot of fun. So the treehouse idea is probably not the most viable build. I'm trying to figure out ways to get around this issue, but there might be already one that we didn't even realize. And that is, your treehouse is probably invulnerable anyway. I've seen this happen before, but it's a bit unpredictable. They take the pillar out and your house is floating. So my suggestion is, test it. You never know. The next thing is, they've made a new item in the game to build a new structure. It's a weapon holder, but it looks like a little tree stump thing. And it can be placed on just about every structure. It's the wall weapon rack. So if you're going to place it near a wall, it will turn into a wall rack. If you place it on the ground, it turns into a normal rack. It only costs 1 log. It should be less than that, but you can't go half a log in this game. You can store nearly every weapon in the game on it, though some look better than others. It seems to be more suitable for axes than anything else, like clubs and sticks and spears. They all look silly on it. Here are pictures of all the weapons in the game on the new weapons rack. Tennis racket looked funny, the gun kind of looked funny, spears looked kind of ridiculous, the bow doesn't even sit right. But all the axes seem to look really nice in it. And just letting you know, it's not invulnerable. The model's not stolen from the new furniture inside Cannibal Camps. Now, another addition is that bombs and Molotov traps, bomb traps and Molotov traps, can be triggered by attacking them or throwing things at them. I think they might have been triggered by attacking them before, but bows and guns will make them explode. If you throw Molotovs, lit or unlit, it doesn't do anything. Small rocks don't do anything, flare gun doesn't do anything, throwing flares doesn't do anything. You have to either shoot them with a bow or a gun. This was something from the last patch, is now you'll get turtles inside your base. I didn't realize this, but I got a nice little surprise, a nice little visitor, but I let him stay. The next one is you can now remove ceiling lights and sheepskin and deerskin from your walls. I thought that was added in the last patch, but maybe it had some errors with it. Fires are now more generous when you're trying to light them and when they're near water. It is very handy because you'll build fires near the water and it won't be lightable, but now they can be. This one's actually underwater and it's being lit. But I did a bit of a test and it appears that most of the fires can be lit. If they're too deep in water, it's not going to light. Though leaf traps burn underwater. Apparently fires couldn't be destroyed before when they were lit. They had to be lit first before you could destroy them. I don't know, I just tested it and put this in anyway. I got no idea. You can now see the logs on zip lines much further away than before. It was quite short before, but now it's pretty good. You can actually see further than the line itself, so. Also that you couldn't use the zip line if it was damaged for logs. But now it works, even when there's a massive cut in the wire. But yes, if you destroy it while it's on there, your logs will fall off. Still best to have someone on the other end catching them. Now the new survival guide has received another terrific update. It is great. Yay. My theory on life is if it's not broken, don't fix it. The old survival guide wasn't broken, and since they tried to fix it, there's just new crap all the time. Like, this picture sits over some of the tabs here. I don't know why. And now there's an issue with your strength being lowered down to 1, no matter what it's at. Though I did open up Mod API and had a look, and my strength is still at its nominated amount. It just appears to be a graphical glitch within the game. So don't worry, your strength hasn't been reduced, it's just more graphical errors in the game. A lot of the tabs now start to glitch and move around when you're not moving. I know the player is moving a little bit, but they're bouncing around. It looks kind of silly. The icons do have a border around them. There's new information at the start, a little bit of a helpful guide for new players. Probably because they know the wiki isn't that good, but we're getting there, we're working on it. But yeah, none of the structures have changed, they're all the same. As the last patch, there's nothing new there. At the end, they fixed a whole bunch of tabs going backwards and forwards and stuff apparently, but I never noticed. The happy birthday trap has had a makeover. It's not the best, considering the rock on the side of it. It's actually not attached. But it does look a bit nicer, especially around the spikes. They've done a good job on that. But also, the happy birthday trap can now injure you. I think it takes off about 35 or 40 hit points. The deadfall trap is the same with the damage thing. It will hurt you and take armor off. It's had a rework, as you can see the new sticks on it, but it doesn't cost any extra. Apparently it's easy to hit things with it. If you're building it against the wall, you won't have any issues. But also another change of it is that you can't climb it anymore. You used to be able to climb it, which was kind of handy for getting back in your base if you had it against the wall, but they've removed that. Sharks have now been added to multiplayer. I don't think this is going to go well because I've done some testing on the sharks and the way they spawn and all that. I was going to do a video on it. I've got all the material there, just haven't done it yet. They don't spawn like normal creatures unless they've changed the mechanics. As you've seen there, the shark just actually disappeared. It does that, it will disappear. So I don't know how that's going to work on servers or multiplayer. It's going to be interesting to see. A big one in multiplayer that you need to know is that you can no longer be revived if you drown or if you're killed by a shark. Now, a lot of people might not know this, but when you die in multiplayer, all your stats get reset. So if you have 40 strength, you'll go back to 20. If you had 5 athleticism, you'll go back to 0. So don't die. If you do die, do die. If you do die, reload your game. If you're the host, consider restarting. Getting those stats up again is just too much work. I tested this just to let you know, you can still go down to the pit with the turtle shell. There's no issues with that. I have heard of people dying doing it, so just save before you do it. If you're going to do it, of course. They've added new sound effects for the turtle shell sliding. I'll just let it play for a bit. You used to take steps when you were on the turtle shell quite often. It would make a sound at the start, but as you moved away from that area where the sound initiated, it would stop. And you might make walking sounds similar to how the zip line used to be, I think. That's a good change. The turtle shells had a rework. Here it is here. Looks much better now. They've put a lot of detail on the inside of it. I cannot believe how much detail they've put in it. It's insane. They should give themselves a pat on the back for it. They fixed soda cans no longer flying out of the box when you hit them. Thank God they did this because this was really annoying. Though the soda can thing doesn't work too well, they still fly in the air, but nowhere near as bad as they used to. Though they will fly in the air if you throw an explosive at them. Something to keep in mind. There's a few other graphical changes and things that have been fixed, nothing really major. This was mainly a bug fix patch, I think. They fixed a few dedicated server ones that were pretty important, like the water collector not working, they fixed the tree regrowth, and the kick and ban features. They've also added a new patch since this one. It's 0.67b hotfix. What it did was fixed an issue with players being unable to let go of log sled unless hit or taken damage. It sounded like a pretty bad bug that they needed to fix. But yes, I do recommend you watch my other video. It's pretty important if you've been watching my work in regards to structures taking damage. But remember, with all this stuff of building destruction, if you have any issues, just turn building damage off, so you can work out ways to defend your structures and that. And if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Cheers.